Hello and welcome to my channel and my new video. In my hands I have the Gshock GBM-2100 and I'm going to show you how to manually set the time, date and other watch functions. So let's get started. From the standard timekeeping mode, and that is the mode when the watch basically tells the time, press and hold the upper left button, that's the adjust button, until you hear the beep. So let's go, press and hold. And there was the beep. First in a row of settings is setting our home city or our time zone. You can shuffle it by pressing the upper right one, or lower right button until you get it to your time zone. My time zone is the Paris time zone, so I'm gonna leave it at Paris. Next up, I'm gonna press the mode button and we shuffle to setting our daylight saving time mode. Is it on or off or auto? You can shuffle it by pressing the start button and you can see I'm shuffling between those values. I'm gonna leave it at 1. Next up, I'm gonna press the mode button again and we move on to setting our seconds value. You cannot set the exact value of seconds, but what you can do is reset them to 0 simply by pressing the start button and it will go to 0. Next up, press the mode button again and we move on to setting our hour value. Currently, in my time zone, it is 24 o'clock, so it is 0. It's midnight. But as you can see, this watch is in the 12-hour time format, so I'm gonna leave it at 12. Next up, press the mode button again and we move on to setting our minutes value. You can shuffle your minutes value by pressing the light button or start button. To engage fast rotation, simply press and hold and it will fast rotate your minutes value. Then when you release it, it will stop, and then pressing it in increments of 1 changes in increments of 1. There it is, that's the time in my time zone. Next up, I'm gonna press the mode button and we move on to setting our year value. It is correct, but I can shuffle it by pressing the light button or lower right button, that's the start button. So decrease or increase. There it is. Now we move on to next setting by pressing the mode button, and that is our date setting. Now we set our month value. So this is correct. Today is the July. So number 7 corresponds to July, but you can decrease it by pressing the light or increase it by pressing the start button over here. Now we move on to next setting by pressing the mode button. That is our day value setting. It says 13, but it is correct. But if you want to change it, again, press the light button to decrease it or start button to increase the value until you get it to your day value. Next up, press the mode button again and we move on to setting our date display format. 12 or 24 hour time format. So by pressing the start button, you shuffle between 12 or 24 hour time format. I'm gonna leave it at 24 hour time format. Next up, I'm gonna press the mode button and we move on to setting our date display format. So currently we see it says month and then day value, but when I press the start button, it will shuffle between day value first and then your month value. So by pressing the start button, you are changing your array of values. Is it going to be first the day value or month and then a day value? I'm gonna leave it at first day value and then my month value. Now I'm gonna press the mode button and we move on to setting our day of the week language. It's flashing English, so currently our days are in English, but you can shuffle it by pressing the start button between English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, Russian, and back to English. I'm gonna leave it at English. Next up, I'm going to press the mode button again, and we move on to setting our operation tone. Is it enabled or disabled? By pressing the start button, you are muting or unmuting your watch. When it says key, it's turned on. When it says mute, it's muted. So I'm gonna leave it at on by pressing the start button until I get it to key. Next up, I'm going to press the mode button again, and now we are setting our illumination duration. What it is? Well, basically, when you press the light button, it determines how much your screen will stay lit on. When it says 1, it means that it will stay lit on for 1.5 seconds. When it says 3, it says it will stay lit on for 3 seconds. So basically, by pressing the start button, you're shortening or prolonging your illumination duration. I'm gonna leave it at 1. Once we have set our illumination duration, I'm gonna press the mode button, and we move on to auto adjust. Is it going to be on or off? Basically, this setting is done using your mobile phone. So I'm gonna skip this setting because when you connect your phone with your watch, you will be able to set this value so the watch will automatically receive the correct time. So I'm gonna press the mode button, and we move on to a power saving adjustment. Power saving currently is turned on, but I can shuffle it between on or off by pressing the start button. I'm gonna leave it at 1. Once I've done with that, I'm gonna press the mode button, and we are back at the beginning and setting our time zone, which means that we have ran through the cycle of setting the time, date, and other watch functions. To implement them, simply press the adjust button once, and the watch will now implement those settings, and our analog time should correspond to our digital time. So let's see if that's the case. There it is correct. But if your hands are not properly aligned, you can watch the other tutorial video on my channel on how to adjust these hands. Thank you very much for watching. This was another tutorial video on my channel, and this time it was the Gshock GBM-2100.